Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and welcome to the Gems of War stream, raid stream, week 29, day 5. Of course we're not doing raids though, because they're already done. However, we have several other things to go do, because of course, this Friday we ended up getting 2 new things. We ended up getting a new hero class from the Grosh-Nak kingdom earlier today of Barbarian. It's pretty bad, however, it does have a glitch where it does gain like an absurd amount of attack whenever you're using a red weapon off everything off the board. So it's actually, in the current state of the game, not that bad of a class. However, they're probably going to nerf it to what they intended to be released as, and once they do, it'll be useless. So hopefully it'll keep it as is, but time will tell, and we'll kind of see on that. Other than that, of course, we end up getting a new mythic. New mythic is available right now as of the Mother of Darkness. She's in Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest. She is pretty bad. She got nerfed very, very hard prior to her actually being released earlier today. And yeah, it's just not that good. The biggest redeeming factor it has is a 4 times bleed per extra turn, which makes her the best bleeding option in the entire game. Having that off the final trait, inflict bleed all enemies on 4 more match. So that's good on her, but other than that, she doesn't really have much going for her. She can get like double kills here and there, but it takes a lot of setup to actually be able to secure those double kills. She also has a really useless summon whenever she doesn't get that double kill, and for that reason, that's really holding her back. Sisters of Shadows do not have true damage attached to them, so she won't be able to have much synergy with her summon. So you pretty much only ever want to cast her if she can secure a kill. And that really limits on when she can actually cast and how much other things you would need to have on your team in order to be able to go and utilize her true damage. Main goal of this stream would be to finish what we started earlier, which is getting Grosh-Nak to 14 stars. As of the hero class, it is obviously now capable of going further than it once was, and we can currently get it to 30. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing, is getting it to 30, or getting it to level 30 so we can go get power level 14. That is pretty much the main goal of this stream, and that's also the furthest that Grosh-Nak can go, is power level 14 at the moment. So definitely want to make sure we have that by the end of the stream. Also, we are streaming a little bit earlier today, as some of you may notice. And that's mostly because the debate is tonight, actually at the exact time that we normally stream. So I just wanted to do it an hour earlier just to get that in. But anyways, hello, Impudence. She's the only mythic in Gem Keys, right? Yes, that is correct. If you were to get a mythic from Glory, Gem, Guild, or VIP chest, any of those 4 keys, it will guarantee be a sister of, I always keep calling her Sister of Shadows. It will automatically be a Mother of Darkness if you end up getting a mythic from any of these drop tables. 100% chance that if you get a mythic, it will specifically be the Mother of Darkness, and that is applicable all the way until next Friday reset. For whatever reason, they still don't have a timer for it. But that will last for another 6 days and 6 hours or so until next Friday reset time. But it'll be the only mythic in Glory Gem Guild or VIP chest, so you'd be able to get. Event keys is still based on the kingdom though, and gold keys obviously have no mythic in them. So do be wary that you can't use either of those 2 keys to get them, but the other 4 are applicable for it. But yeah, event keys always apply to whatever the kingdom is, so they're still giving. Oh, was this event week already? It was Center Mirage, so it's still giving. What is Center Mirage's mythic? How'd you forget? But that one's still giving, I think it's Queen of Sin, right? I'm pretty sure it's Queen of Sin is Center Mirage's mythic. Which actually isn't too bad of a synergy troop for it, if nothing else. They're both relatively useless mythics, but they're both the same kind of premise, so they kind of synergize together. But yeah, Event Key says Queen of Sin as the only mythic right now. And Glory Gem Guild and VIP chests have Mother of Darkness as the only mythic currently right now. And that's what's going on with both of those 2. If anyone still has any questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know. We'll probably hand out a code at level 29 and aim for 30 and then finish up whatever else we might still need to do at that point. Which does remind me, I should probably go do dailies real quick. Not only are they great EXP, but I haven't done them yet, so let me go do them. These shouldn't take too long. We're just using this quick kill team for most of them and then switching probably into key, taking out the dungeons. And just from doing that, we should be getting a pretty substantial amount of EXP. Every single battle that we do in these daily adventure boards and dungeons do give 2 EXP each. And obviously they go down about as quick as Explore does, so a lot of EXP to be gained. Oh, did YouTube give no notification? That would explain the low viewer count. It should have. I didn't do the stream any differently than I normally do. But it would explain why no one is here. That and we're doing it an hour earlier than normal, which might throw some people off. I mentioned in the earlier stream, but obviously not everyone might have caught it. And due to how YouTube takes forever to render that video, I didn't even get to post it until just recently. Because sometimes, if you do a stream longer than 2 hours, it basically shrinks it down to 2 hours until it fully finishes rendering. Whereas even if it hasn't fully finished rendering, if it's under 2 hours, what they'll do instead is they'll have lower quality options, but it'll still show the entire thing. So like nightly streams I can normally get out a little bit quicker, not just mostly because they're shorter and they get up quicker, but also because they're under 2 hours. So they can be uploaded at lower quality, even prior to them fully rendering. But you can't do that with a longer stream than that of which is over 2 hours. Otherwise, it just starts at a random time until it fully finishes rendering. It's really weird how YouTube has it. Very, very weird. It didn't show weird. Huh. I had a notification and everything set up for it. Maybe I should have set it up earlier. I can technically get a double notification for it too. I normally have it so it notifies when we start to stream. However, if I make the prior notification prior to at least an hour beforehand, I can make a notification for when it's an hour beforehand, and then again change the settings to it so it also gives a notification after an hour has already gone by, or you know, the hour before, to make it so it also does a notification when it starts. There's theoretically other timestamp times when I can do that too. I just figured that'd be a bit too spammy though. I think I've occasionally used the double method, but I've never tried doing more notifications than that. Normally I just have it set to whenever the stream starts, which is what I have it set to now. But YouTube being YouTube just likes to not send them out sometimes. Whenever you stream to Twitch, it didn't seem like it took long at all. No, Twitch I believe gets it up almost instantly. I find it kind of weird because YouTube's playback is instant. Like you can see all the way back in like the beginning of the stream, even if we do like a 5-hour long stream or something. However, the video that it renders after the fact, for whatever reason, takes forever to get up sometimes. It can take about 2 hours per hour just to render out if it's being slow. Aw, why do you take out our damage? That's not nice. Okay, we gotta use that weapon. There we go. Oh yeah, YouTube, honestly, I much prefer streaming on YouTube. I used to stream on Twitch like ages upon ages ago, but pretty much everything on YouTube side, while it does have many, many problems still, I do actually prefer streaming to YouTube personally. Okay, let me switch this to Barbarian. We're going to be leveling Barbarian over the next few weeks, so definitely want to go switch. I need to get Barbarian to 70. Once we get to 70, we don't really need to get it leveled anymore. It actually gains no beneficial perk on 100. So we don't really need to worry about that. Has an interesting weapon that you end up getting from it. The weapon is actually very similar to a mythic that exists. Just a weaker version of it. It's very similar to Tanya. It has heavy splash just like Tanya, and it has triple stun just like Tanya. I didn't even realize that till this morning. That's pretty much just the Tanya. Just a way cheaper version of it that's slightly weaker. Tanya is already a rather underwhelming mythic though. But now there's basically a weapon that does what Tanya does. It doesn't have his summon, and it doesn't have his double damage that Tanya does. But other than that, it's a very, very similar weapon. Or, you know, the weapon's very similar to the ability, I mean. Also, it looks like we're going to get a class or a hero level as well. Should be able to reach 15, 17 this stream, easily. Oh, also as a reminder, I mentioned in a previous stream, didn't mention at all this stream yet though. We will not be streaming tomorrow morning. I'm going to be busy throughout most of the earlier part of the day, so we're probably just going to do a longer stream at night tomorrow. So when we stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, which is about 25 hours from now, since we're doing an hour early right now. But we'll end up doing that stream tomorrow. We'll probably do it a little bit longer, make up for the fact we didn't really have a morning stream in there. Who knows, maybe we'll even hand out 2 codes that night. Let's see, we'll go for key for now, since we wouldn't have one in the morning one. That won't be for quite some time. I put off making a YouTube channel forever, and I honestly do wish I would have started a little bit earlier than I did. I was planning on starting as early as like 2012, 2013, But I never really got around to it till... Oh my gosh, what year was it? 2015, I believe it was? Yeah, like halfway through 2015. I believe it was. Actually, funny thing, way back in like 2011 or 2012, I was thinking about starting one on Warcraft 3, a channel on Warcraft 3. I ultimately didn't end up doing it, but I was considering it at the time. Kind of glad I didn't do that though, because the player base has kind of been like, it was diminishing for the longest of times. And while Reforged somewhat helped it, it's also indirectly killed it. Because all of the old community, while Warcraft 3 actually has a bigger player base now than it has for like a decade, a lot of that player base is very temporary because it's people who are buying Reforged. But a lot of like that older player base actually ends up like leaving the game as of recently as Reforged, just because Reforged kind of ruined the classic experience of the game. At least until they make more adjustments to it. But anyways, that's all of our dailies. Or most of our dailies. Didn't do Underworld, but haven't really been doing Underworld as much lately. The main reason for it is look at how many shards we have right now. We're currently sitting on 20,000 shards. We kind of don't need to do it. We just have such a high shard reserve right now. We still could, but that's the only real loot you need from Underworld, and because we've been doing so many pure factions at 500 off of Tuesday events, we kind of have a surplus of them, so I don't really need it at the moment. But anyways, let's go into this. Let's go back to our, not that. That was one of the teams for the Mother Mythic. This was the Life and Death version of it, with Leprechaun, Life and Death, Mother of Darkness, and Arachnine Weaver. We ended up making 3 teams up. The Grey King seems like one of the better options. I feel like I might want to revamp this to something else. But the Grey King into Mother of Darkness actually seems like it's an okay combo. And other than that, I ended up doing a Marilith spam into the whole poison thing. And then just cleaning up with 2 other true damages. Basically, the whole team is true damage. All 4 of them do true damage to the enemy. So true damage teams are starting to develop more and more. We keep getting more and more options, so hopefully it'll be viable eventually. They've been kind of behind for a while. There was points in this game when true damage was the most meta thing in the game, including when the game first started because of Crimson Bat. But these days, hasn't really been getting much usage. And it's mostly because most true damage options take a while to get their mana up. Also, a lot of true damage options do not have any form of board control, which really holds them back, because obviously if you could do something like infinite loop off a truffle, which is physical damage, that would be more desirable than potentially doing true damage, because even though you might be able to hit really hard with true damage, you don't really have any kind of cycles that you can do with it to keep your team rolling. So it's one of the biggest things kind of holding it back, I would say, in the current state of the game, is a lot of the game is based on keeping it on your turn, especially in harder content. And true damage doesn't really do that well. Not to mention it doesn't really upscale to higher stats that well. Most true damage is balanced around similar stats rather than upscaling. Because if they did it based on upscaling, it'd generally be too strong in many instances. That's why all the Meng-like weapons are kind of like that. They're kind of a mix of both rather than just going all in on true damage. Because if they did, it would be a little bit too strong in some instances. But in doing so, they also made it underwhelming in many other instances. You remember you saying something about the vampire at Whitehelm was pretty OP for a while? Yes, it was. It ended up getting buffed about a few months into the game. And when it did, it actually had the highest single target true damage in the game for a short duration. And at the time, we were talking about life stats that are in single digits. And there was a good number of troops that it could one-shot. Every skeleton in the game it could one-shot. Quite a few of the mechs it could one-shot. Probably the most noteworthy thing that it could one-shot at the time was Karnex, which was one of the better generators, mana generators at the time. Because you have to keep in mind, explosions at this time gave 100% of the mana you exploded. So they had quite a bit more value than they currently do now, in which they only give 50% of the mana that they exploded. So things like Karnex was actually pretty viable overall. However, it had the lowest HP of any mythic, and I believe it still does, or pretty close. And she had enough to one-shot it. And it was a really popular pick at the time that hard countered it. But yeah, she could one-shot like a tenth of the troops in the game, or something like that. Like 10 to 20% of every troop in the game, which was only like 100-something at the time. But she could one-shot it at the time, which is why she was so broken. And she could two-shot anything in the game. And she also had a bunch of other stat gains that might seem very small, like the fact she gains like 4 HP and 2 attack. But there was literally a patch where they made her go from 2 attack gain to 5 HP gain to 2 attack gain and 4 life gain, just because it was too strong the other way around, which seems really weird in the context of the current state of the game, that one single stat gain would be that big of a difference. But back when the game first started, the single stat made all the difference. It's like the difference between dying or not dying, because a lot of stats were still in single digits or very low double digits. Obviously, stats are excessively high these days. In things like Underworld, you're on average seeing everything with 100+ stats pretty much, except for maybe Magic. And PvP is even starting to get to the point where everything's 100+. Like, just look at our stats right now. We have one of them at 100, another one that's pretty close. Magic's always going to be the furthest away from reaching that point, though. I think as you see some of these stats, we're pretty much already at 100 just from doing normal content. But it's way, way higher than it's been in the past, that's for sure. Let's see, we'll go for that for now. Get our splodies. Also, hello, Adrian. Welcome. Also, I just completely skipped over your thing, Flute Ninja. You've been working on making new Guild War Defend Team options, but was curious if Hero counted as a different troop for the bonus. If so, does it have to be a different weapon, class, or both to count? Oh, sorry about that. But yes, it has to be a different weapon. However, everything else on it can be the same. So, for example, you can use the same hero class on all 6. However, the weapon has to be different every single time. So when you're making your defend teams, the weapon has to be different, but the hero class can be anything. And the banner can be anything. The only thing that matters is the weapon itself is different. And the reason for that is it checks it based like a troop. Like, it basically just checks what weapon it is as if it's a different troop for every single weapon. So as long as you're using a different weapon for each one, it'll be fine, even if you use the same hero classes. So you could use like a maxed out Titan hero class for all 6, but you have to use a different weapon for all 6 if you're going to go do that. You're not allowed to repeat any weapon. So you can't use Dawnbringer twice, you can't use Mang twice, you can't use Mountain Crusher twice or anything like that. Like, if you wanted a different Mountain Crusher, you have to use Essence of Evil for one day, or the Mirror of Good another day, and a Mountain Crusher for another day, and stuff like that, if you wanted to use multiple Mountain Crusher like weapons. Or the Eye of what's that one eye weapon called? Jar of Eyes. Like, there's a lot of similarities. It's one of the other reasons why we kind of have weapons that have similarities. Because it might seem kind of weird that we get weapons that are relatively similar. But it's actually beneficial for Guild Wars. Yeah, I actually haven't streamed any MMO before. If I ever do, I'll probably stream RuneScape, old school RuneScape. I've quit it for quite some time at this point. It's a game that I've quit and came back to like 1 billion times. I've been playing it since like 2001 or so, and have probably quit it like 6 times, and eventually came back. I don't know, something about that game is just always a interesting experience to get back into. It's actually amazing how much longevity that game has had. What do we even grab here? Let's get that exploded. And a split kill that. Also, we should be pretty close to level 29. I just say we'd hand out code at 29. And we should be getting right on top of that. Yep, 28. Oh yeah, it's definitely worth trying RuneScape. Though try old school RuneScape, don't try the normal RuneScape. Old school's better. Even though they're trying to ruin it with updates. Old school's still better. The only problem with them constantly updating old school RuneScape is it increasingly feels less like old school RuneScape almost every major update they make. Oh yeah, I've skipped over a really high amount of popular games. Except for Nintendo stuff. I play like every popular Nintendo thing. But aside from that, I skip over quite a lot of popular games. Though I did play a lot of them when I was younger because my cousins were always on top of everything as far as newer gaming stuff. And whenever I went over to their place, I would always play all the things. Oh, what do I even grab here? I'll take that for now. A glory gnome. That's the best gnome there is. Can you drop 1,000 glory for us? You know you want to. It's better than your vault key sometimes. Anything good? 500. Still good. At least it's not 200. Anything but the 200. Even the 200 is good though. 200 is worth 9 gems. Because it's worth about a gem key, and a gem key is worth, well, 10 glory keys have the drop rate of about a gem key. And a gem key has a value of 9 gems. So technically, 200 glory has a value of 9 gems. I actually quit consoles while I was in college. From, what was the full time frame? From 2013 to 2018, I completely stopped with consoles. The main thing that made me get back into consoles was Smash coming to Nintendo Switch. That was the main thing that got me back into consoles. But for that entire time frame, for those, was that 8 years? No, that was less than 8 years. That was, for those 5 years, I was pretty much exclusively PC gaming. What do I grab here? I'll take that for now. Also, as of last year, I got into mobile gaming as well. But I don't really play much other than Clash Royale at the moment. Just because a lot of things don't seem as interesting to me. Any free glory is good glory. They give out like so much glory off of glory gnomes compared to how you can get it by any other method. It is absurdly high off of glory gnomes. Oh, because it was easier to move it around in the military. That makes sense. That's actually one of the reasons why I mostly use laptops right now rather than actual full computer setups. Because if I ever need to go somewhere, or if I ever need to move from here, or anything like that, it has really decent mobility. So you don't need to constantly worry about it. Especially with how often this place gets hit by hurricanes, pretty much every single year. Actually, I lost electricity this morning because of all the winds from that one storm going through the country. That's unrelated to hurricanes, though. Hurricane season is mostly in September. September's the worst year for it every single, or the worst month for it every year. Yeah, PC towers have gotten pretty tiny, though, over the years. That is true. And my laptop is like paper thin. Like if you compare the width or whatever, the thickness of my current laptop compared to my laptop that I had from 7 years ago or 8 years ago, it's actually 7.5 or so right now. I got it in 2013. If you compare it, I think this one's like 3 times thinner, the laptop I'm currently using. Let's see, we'll take that for now. Yeah, before you know it, phones are almost just going to be the new computers. They're just getting so powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we get like a computer setup where you could literally just put like half of it in one pocket, half of it in the other pocket, connect them two together, and boom, got a whole thing working for pretty much anything. 20,000 gold. We're getting some pretty good gnomes this stream. Given that it's not a gnome event. Of course, you can find gnomes whenever, not just during gnome events. Explorer 1 to 3, the fastest hero XP? Yes. Explorer 1, 2, and 3 are the fastest class XP in the entire game. As well as hero XP. They're two different things, but yeah. Hero XP is your bigger level. Class XP are the smaller level from 1 to 100. But yes, doing 1 to 3 Explorer is the quickest method for it. And it gives about 3 to 4 XP per minute. Which on average comes out to about 200 or so per hour for XP rate. Generally around there. Speaking of that, I'm really surprised we haven't hit that 29 yet. Where's Isabel Draken, everyone? I believe it's mostly because we were doing it at a different time. And not everyone was here earlier to stream to know that I mentioned a different time. And the reason I'm streaming a little bit earlier today is just because the Democratic debate was tonight. It's probably one of the bigger ones, if not the biggest one of the season. So I did want to catch it. Because this is probably the most consequential debate that they're going to have of any debate that they've actually had so far. Because it's right before New Hampshire. And New Hampshire is like one of the last early states that really matters a lot. Also, they completely botched Iowa because of the reporting on it. That was a pretty hilarious mess. They still don't even have all the votes in for that. It's at like 99.6% or something. I think last I checked, Bernie was down 2 delegates behind Pete. What do we even take here? Though Pete was already polling higher in Iowa than any other location. I'm not sure why we even have Iowa as the first state. It just seems really weird. To only have like one state as the first state. Because it goes one state, then another one state, then another one state, which is actually my state, South Carolina. And then it goes to Super Tuesday, which has like 1 billion. I forget how many. It's like 12 or something. Or somewhere around there. Let's see. We'll grab that down. Is it in the Constitution? I don't believe it is. Like, the way they currently have it set up, I don't believe it's specifically mentioned in the Constitution. It's not like it can't be amended to reflect modern things, because the Constitution was made before, like, you know, modern transportation. Like, when the Constitution was made, they're literally using horses for transportation. It's much different times now. Let's see. Oh, the state constitution. Yeah, it might be. Though that can be amended as well. Oh, to grab skull for now. Take a reds. And he'd be dead. Otherwise, we forget they exist. I don't know. You'd still get like representation from every state if you did it differently. Oh, I just remembered. We just hit 29, didn't we? I wasn't paying attention. I think we did. Because I need to hand out code. I did say at 29 I would. We did. I thought we did. I was just kind of looking at chat at the time. I'm gonna go do that then. Then go get our final level. Or at least the final level we need to go get that Kingdom Star. That's why we're here. Let's grab Tribute as well. Can't not grab that. 20 gems, nice. Those tributes are starting to get really, really high. Okay, let me go find what I'm looking for. Where were we? Let's see. Where is the thingy thing of things? It should be marked where I just used the previous one. No, it is not. Weird. Oh, yes, it is. I was looking at it wrong. Right, there's the code. This should be one that works. Put that into the thing, put in my thing, put in the other thing, paste it in, refresh, copy, copy, paste, paste, copy, copy, and here you guys go. Here's the redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com with the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Whatever your game says right over here in the bottom left corner is what you put in. Redeem code's right over in chat. Just go copy, paste the random numbers and letters. And it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. It only works on PC mobile version of the game. And there you guys go. So we have a bit less viewers at the moment, so should last for almost the rest of the stream at this point. Though, of course, it can only be claimed once per account. Alright, there you guys go. You just go to that link to go use it, or go to gemsofwar.com with the game code section. So let's go get this final level. And doing so will give us 14-star Grosh-Nak. And speaking of tribute, that actually does give a higher tribute chance. And tribute chance is a lot more valuable than tribute reward. Main reason for this is tribute chance can, when you get multiple tributes at once, which tribute chance helps increase, you end up getting additional gold keys and gems. So tribute reward can be very, very helpful, since basically having a 0.25 higher tribute chance is actually approximately a extra tribute every 2 days, assuming you're checking it several times a day. So ends up adding up to be quite a bit, since that's basically a free gem and 2 gold keys every 2 days. And that might not seem like much, but you take that with every single kingdom that exists and you keep getting more and more upgrades, that starts to add up quite a bit. Also, speaking of adding up, another 1,000 glory. Just this hour, we've hit like 2,000 glory, gosh. It's not even a gnome event. If the code isn't working, make sure you don't have an extra space. It should work. I just used it. But make sure you didn't accidentally add another space. Or not that you added an extra space, it just auto adds a space sometimes. So click backspace, because there's sometimes an invisible space that it adds for no reason. And if there's a space there, it will not work. If you delete it, it will. Hey, level 30. Oh wow, that actually came around pretty quick. But, level 30 ends up doing for us is Grosh-Nak, level 14. And that's, I believe, the highest we can bring it up to currently. And as I just mentioned, that is now a 0.25 higher tribute chance. So it went from, actually I forget what percent it already was at, but it ended up going to the percent of 41%. Let's see, what was that previously? Let me find a star level that's one below it. Where is a, there it is. So what was it previously? It's tribute chance. So its tribute chance was originally 38%. So now it's 41%. So theoretically, every, okay, it's a little bit more tributes than I thought. Approximately every 33 tributes that we take, we're going to be getting an additional tribute from that kingdom. So every few days, we'd basically get an extra 1 gem and 2 gold keys off it. And we'd also get whatever the tribute reward is, which for this kingdom is this mess. Where'd it go? I don't think it was anything too good. But we also get the actual tribute reward off of it for whenever it triggers. Where's the thing? Which would be that. But the main thing that's really noteworthy is this, because it would be able to stack up gems over time. But anyways, let's go get another level. Let's see. Because that one went pretty quick, as it should go. We're at a pretty low level at the moment. But yeah, every little bit of tribute chance helps. Because right now I feel like we average around a 12 tribute, or you know, a 12 gem tribute. And that's not too bad. Being able to just come on, randomly click a button for a few seconds, and then boom, we got like 12 gems and a bunch of gold keys. Among a few other loots. Definitely adds up over time. It's how I accumulate more than half my gems. If anyone's ever wondering how we keep our gem stack so high, it is almost all tributes. Like anywhere from half to 2/3 of my gems that generated on this account these days is from tributes. I hope they never nerf it. They said they don't have any plans on doing it anytime soon, but it's not out of the question that they might eventually end up nerfing it. Because tribute is starting to get increasingly more powerful over time. I think one of the main reasons they don't want to nerf it necessarily is it helps keep retention time for the game pretty high. Or, you know, like as far as amount of time played. Because of people idling for tributes, or because of people, you know, just coming in to go to a tribute. And sometimes they'll do some battles and stuff to go with it. So I'm pretty sure that's one of the main reasons they'll probably never actually nerf tribute, because it gives incentive to technically check the game every single hour if you really want to. I'm never that paranoid about checking it, but wouldn't be surprised if some people are, especially if you're really short on some amount of gems for something specifically that you want to go get. You can easily farm more per hour, obviously, though. You can farm like about 60 or so per hour. Like anywhere from 50 to 70 or so per hour off of treasure hunts. That's still nice to just come on, take like 10 seconds, and get like 10 gems for doing so. Actually, we've broken it down before. If I'm not mistaken, taking tribute, once you have every single kingdom at level 9, I believe. If you have every single kingdom at level 9, which is where you get a good bulk of the tribute chance. If you have every single kingdom in the game level to 9 stars, you are getting effectively around 1,200 gems per effective hour of taking tributes. I count that as every tribute takes 30 seconds. And if you take all the 30 seconds together, it averages to about 1,200 gems an hour. Obviously, you don't actually get all that in an hour. That's distributed over like about 2 weeks or so. However, the actual effective time that you spend taking tribute relative to what you get is pretty much over 1,000 gems per hour at that point, if you have at least every single kingdom at 9 stars or higher. And obviously it's even higher than that if you have them higher than that. Let's see, we'll grab that. And get our glory gnome. Seriously, we have over 2,000 glory this hour, just off a glory gnome. Look at that. Just between our last 2 glory drops, we've gotten 2,000 glory, let alone all the 500s we were getting. That is some good glory loot for not even being gnome event right now. We're almost like 3,000 glory this hour. Get all the explosions. He'll just poke us and he's dead. Okay, what do we really need here? We'll just go for another explosion there. And then we just go right into Rowan and he's dead again. Hey, an arcane, nice. Oh, duh, that was the guarantee arcane. That was a mythic battle, wasn't it? Never mind. I was wondering why there was another trait stone there. That was the guarantee arcane. Never mind. Every mythic battle, you get a free arcane from the kingdom. Obviously, we get so few of them when we're doing this lower level range. However, it still happens. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. Never mind. That wasn't a mythic battle. Oh, never mind. That was a random drop. Then what was the other trait stone from? Or was I just looking at it wrong? Never mind. It was a random drop arcane. Because our guarantee one isn't until this cycle. Okay, what do we take here? Let's grab a Splody. Oh, was there a gnome in that battle? I wasn't paying attention. Because normal gnome does have a 2 minor drop. Which might have been what it was. That or my new glasses are deceiving me. I've mostly gotten used to these newer glasses. The first few days, it was like really, really off. Especially since they cover my full field of view, which I'm not used to with any glasses I've ever worn before. But, yeah, they're nice. Just need to get used to them. At this point, I'm pretty much fully used to them. Still probably take a few more days to be like 100%, but at this point, I'm pretty much used to them. Okay, here's the one where we get the guarantee arcane from. So there's a 100% chance we will get a green arcane from completing out this battle. We could theoretically even get 2 if we end up getting as a roll. Well, we definitely get at least 1, 100%. And there's a 100%. And also we get the other drop. And we got 2 tokens out of it. Nice. Of course, low rarity ones. We only can get low rarity from doing what we're currently doing. If anyone still has any questions, let me know. As I'll probably wrap up as soon as we get this next level. And tomorrow night we'll be back at normal time again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll probably be streaming a little bit longer tomorrow night, especially since we're kind of cutting it short tonight, as well as the fact that I won't actually be streaming tomorrow morning. I won't be streaming until tomorrow night tomorrow. So we'll probably do a longer stream to make up for the fact that we're not doing it in the morning. Though it's mostly going to be Barbarian hero class. Maybe we'll try aiming for 40, level 40 hero class. Probably a good goal to have for next stream. Because we're going to be at 31 by the end of the stream. Probably have 32 by the time we stream tomorrow night. And then should easily be able to cover those 8 levels by the end of that stream. And then we get another perk on the hero class as well. And then the only perk we'd need is the one at level 70. Which we'll work towards over the next week or two. Not like too big of a rush for it, but I do obviously want to get it down. I don't think we need anything else for Guild War next week. And if we do, it's not like we can get it to 100 in time. Like Hierophant, if we want to get to 100, it's going to take too long. We're not even halfway done with it yet. I mean, we're only a little bit past halfway done with it, I mean. Is there any arcane in particular that's worth farming when you don't have a particular troop to trait? Nope, you pretty much just keep all the arcanes pretty even for the most part. Well, you basically check to see what you currently have total as far as what you need. One thing that you can actually do for that, which I believe is still up to date, and it's a really great resource for it, gemsofwardatabase.com. If you link your account to gemsofwardatabase.com, I believe it still has a feature where it shows you the total amount of arcanes you still need to max out everything in the game. So it shows the full list of every single trait stone you need to max out the rest of your troops. And from there, you can kind of determine, based on how much you have of every single resource, of what you need to farm. It's something that you don't really see me using because I've, you know, I have more arcanes than I ever know what to do with. But it's a really great tool if you are still in the process of maxing all your troops, as it can help you guide on what you actually want to go for next. But yeah, check out gemsofwardatabase.com. It's GOWDB.com. It's all the initials of that. It's a tool I haven't really shown much these days, but it's pretty good for early to mid game through getting all the traits done. And even in late game, you're probably still doing some amount of traits. But it's very, very beneficial for that. Hey, another arcane. But you just link your accounts, and on your page, if you go to your troop page, it should have a breakdown of the remaining amount of trait stones you need to max everything. And then you can make determinations based on that. You can also do it based on what legends and mythics you currently have as well. So if you know you have a legend that you can't currently trait but might want to trait into the future, you can kind of start getting trait stones towards it, of course. Like, for example, Dragon Soul does not need to be traded to be useful. However, it's something you generally do want to eventually get traded. It's not like a high priority as far as trading, but it's obviously something you'd want to get around to. But things like those are kind of the ones that you'd want to do. Like, obviously, you do all the really important ones first, and the ones that you need for kingdom upgrades. So it's a lot of really low rarity troops as well as the better legends and mythics. But then you start moving to kind of more the mid-range once you finally get those done, of course. As far as the ones that you might not necessarily use a lot, but would still be beneficial to have occasionally to have their traits. What's the substitute for the low levels for Cedric Gold? You have all others, just not Cedric. What do you mean for that? Like farming gold without Cedric, do you mean? You don't need Cedric to farm gold. Explorer 12 is actually the best method for farming gold, and that doesn't even use Cedric. If you happen to have like a Scorpius or Yali set up, or if you happen to have anything that can really win quick enough at it. Hey, he's gained our level, nice. But even this, what we're doing right now, while it's not the best gold rate, is still technically gold farming, because we're getting gold off of Leprechaun every single time, and we're getting gold from the actual battle itself. And you can also use the plus 400 gold troop for the week. So if we replace out Mirage Queen, we can actually get plus 400 gold, meaning we'd get about 1,000 gold per battle, and we'd still win about 3 times a minute with that team, meaning we'd get about 3,000 gold per minute, and that would come out to 180,000 gold per hour, which isn't the absolute greatest rate in the game, but it's definitely not low. The one with Egg Thief and everything? Cedric doesn't really have a replacement in that team. Mostly because Cedric is your damage option. So you can't really replace him. Oh, weird. Wait, do you guarantee get a minor whenever you get an arcane? Wait, why is the mini-boss giving a guarantee arcane? I don't think it's supposed to. I thought it was only in the mythic battles that give guarantee arcane. Weird. Very weird. But yeah, unfortunately, Cedric doesn't really have much of a replacement with that, because it isn't worth putting a 25% gold troop in there. And Skeleton Key kind of needs the damage. At that point, you'd be better off just running something like this with the plus 400 gold troop. You'd actually gain more gold from it that way, compared to not having Cedric. Because you get 400 extra gold per battle, and the battle ends pretty much as quickly as what you see now. Sometimes it gets stuck up a little bit just because you're running with 2 mana Rowan rather than 6 mana Rowan. But it still gets mana pretty quick nonetheless. And instead of getting like this small amount of gold, you'd be getting about 1,000 gold per battle. It'd be this thing right here. It's available for all the rest of this weekend as well. It's the, I keep forgetting his name. It's of Greed, I know is the second part. The Broker of Greed. But if you replace out Mirage Queen, which also makes the team cheaper, and you go set your tokens to 20% mana, I'm not going to bother changing that right now. But if you change your medals to 20% mana as well, so she starts with 2 mana rather than 0, what you can basically just do is throw down the Leprechaun, she'll hopefully have full mana, cast, and then boom, you just kill as quickly as you would. And instead of getting a normal amount of gold, we're now getting over 1,000 per battle. So you can do that instead. Main reason I'm not doing that now is it's ever so slightly slower because Rowan starts with lower mana. And for farming class XP, it does make it slower. So that's why I'm not using it now. However, it would net you more gold. Almost double the amount of gold than what we'd be getting otherwise. And for the rest of this weekend, it's pretty viable. You can't find Leprechaun? Ooh. Yeah, there's one of them that you is random luck on if you get. There is no guarantee area where you can end up getting a Leprechaun. And it is a pretty useful troop to have. One thing to keep an eye on, though it's very rare that it pops up, is keep an eye out on the summoning stones. On whatever color the troop is, it can appear in summoning stones where you can end up getting it. And I don't believe it's here right now, but you can occasionally see Leprechaun here. No, it's not this week, but do keep an eye on it if you don't get it very soon. Because you'll have a 1 in 8 chance of getting a copy of Leprechaun by using these if he happens to be around. But other than that, you just kind of have to get lucky off of glory keys or gem keys. It'll be really easy to get if there's ever a Bright Forest event. However, I don't believe a Bright Forest event is anytime soon. I'll go double check. I know Sword's Edge is next week. We were just talking about it earlier on the previous stream. Where is the other thing? No, it doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon. You'd probably have it by the time an event for it would actually come around. Is this something you have to just throw more glory and gem keys for and just hopefully get it soon? And if you're not already doing it, doing 1.9k for PvP gives you 43 glory keys a week, as well as glory. So you get over 50 glory keys technically a week from that, which definitely adds up. They're hiding her pot of gold. Yeah, they do end up farming a lot of gold. I've probably earned millions of gold just from the fact that he gives 20 gold per cast. It doesn't seem like much, but it definitely adds up over time. Because every single battle we're doing, that gets multiplied by over bonuses. And I believe just for casting him once, I'm gaining like a free 50 gold, if not more. Just for simply casting him. Which of course is a very low number. But if you take thousands of battles, that definitely starts adding up. How much gold he ends up accumulating for doing pretty much nothing but except his role. Because he's one of those gold farming troops that actually does not slow down your team at all. Quite a few gold farming teams can slow down by using gold related options. However, anything that Leprechaun is not slowed down at all from having a gold option in it. I definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream, especially since YouTube didn't send out the notification. So we have a lower amount of viewers. Also because we're streaming at a weird time. And speaking of that, I probably will be wrapping up. So if anyone still has any last minute questions, leave them now. Because after this last set, we'll probably end out the stream. Yeah, we reached level 31.5 or so. We'll probably get 40 tomorrow night and go from there. And hopefully we'll have the video out before tomorrow night's stream going over the new hero class. I'm hoping that they fix the final trait. I guess I'll make mention of the final trait if they don't end up fixing it. However, the way that you would use it if they haven't fixed it yet is way different than how you would if they did. Which is one of the main reasons why I'm holding out on doing the video for now. But hopefully it'll be fixed by tomorrow. The glitch that's problematic with Barbarian right now. What's the team for Barbarian? For what, the event? I ran Dawnbringer with triple Grosh-Nak. Or if you don't have that, you can run Mang with double Fist of Zorn into Grosh-Nak. Either of those two options, I would say, is the main way to run the event. As far as actual teams to use them, it really depends on if they fix the final trait or not. If they leave the final trait as is, it is going to be decently viable. It's not going to be the best hero class, but it's actually going to be useful for stuff. If they end up nerfing it to what the trait actually says it does, it's going to be pretty bad and probably not be useful for much. A serious question? Sure, feel free to leave it. I'll answer all the questions. But yeah, anyone else with any other questions? But yeah, I'll be going over hero on teams for the actual hero class to use it probably tomorrow at some point. I'm also just seeing on what their verdict is for the final trait. Because it's still up in the air what on earth is happening with it. Unless they mentioned it recently. Probably check again before I go to bed. And probably tomorrow afternoon. Just to see what on earth is up with it. Why is Earth's Fury better than Mang? It isn't. It depends on the team. You need attack on your guy at the top of your team. You don't see how it helps the rest of them when they don't hit with skulls. It can for boost ratios. One of the reasons why Earth's Fury is occasionally used, there's two reasons. There's two main reasons why you would ever use an Earth's Fury, which is why you don't see me using it a lot, but it's still occasionally used. One is in invasions. The reason why it's very good value for invasions is you have 5 times skull damage, and it has a 1-to-3 boost ratio. So theoretically, in combination with those two values, it gains 1.66 more multiplier than it would if you were just using Mang in first slot. Using an invasion troop in first slot in invasions with Earth's Fury will get 1.66 more value out of Earth's Fury than you would if you had Mang in first slot. So that's one of the biggest values that it gets used for, which is kind of funny because I believe it came out during a raids event, not an invasion event. But it is a really solid weapon for invasion event. Actually, if there was any one weapon to have in the entire game for invasions, Earth's Fury is actually the absolute strongest. And it's one of the main locations where it actually does get used. Other than that, the other really big instance where it tends to get used is if you're using something that has attack boost ratio. A couple of these things are things like Gargoyle, Ketris, there's something else. Iron Gut. Things that have a really dependent value on attack tend to benefit pretty well. So if you had something in first slot that gets good skull value, while having an Earth's Fury, while having something in third slot that boost ratios off attack, while having something possibly even in fourth slot that boost ratios off attack, you can end up getting a lot of value out of Earth's Fury. It's very situational, but if you need the attack boost, it can be useful for that. You'll normally see me using Mang in a lot of instances where I do use it though, just because it's a quick way to concentrate a lot of damage onto one troop so you can get a lot of value to kill it quickly. But there are some situations where you do otherwise. It just depends if you have a lot of things that use attack boost ratio or if you're doing invasions or not. As invasions is probably like 90% of where you would realistically use an Earth's Fury. Unless you were making some really niche teams around it. But it's never not good for invasions. It's the best invasion weapon in the game by a very large margin. And obviously invasions only happens once a month for a week, but still it's useful. Even if that's the only thing you use it for, it's probably still worth it. Just because it probably saves you like half an hour to an hour on invasions when you do use it for that purpose. Especially if whatever the invasion troop is for the week has good skull mitigation. Or, you know, if they're actually good in first slot. All of them get the extra damage off of first slot, but they might not necessarily have traits that assist it that well. But if they have like agile or 50% skull reduction, 25% skull reduction, anything like that tends to synergize pretty well with the fact that you put them in first slot with a bunch of damage off of Earth's Fury. But anyways, I'm going to be heading out for now, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time that we normally are, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is pretty much this time tomorrow. And we'll be going and messing around with getting this hero class, ideally to at least level 40 tomorrow night. Probably have 2 codes tomorrow night since I won't be streaming in the morning and going from there. So I will catch all of you guys pretty soon. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Best of luck if you're going to be trying for the new mythic off of Glory Gem Guild or VIP chest. Do keep in mind that it's a relatively bad mythic, so it's probably worth skipping over. The main reason I would bother getting this mythic if you were to is if you don't own Possessed King, you can get this mythic instead to go get Darkstone at 10 plus stars. Honestly, if you don't currently own Possessed King, this mythic probably is worth going for. But if you own Possessed King, I'd probably say hold off on this mythic. And the main reason for that is it's actually easier to obtain a Mother of Darkness than it is to obtain a Possessed King. Because the only realistic way to gain Possessed King is to go spend 4,000 diamonds. Whereas right now, you have the option of getting Mother of Darkness off of Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest, which is overall a bit easier. So it's worth considering opening your keys for if you don't have it to 10 plus stars yet, or if you don't have the mythic from Darkstone yet, which the only other one's Possessed King. But that's probably the only instance I would say is worth it. And the hero class is still up in the air on if it's going to be good or not. If they leave the trait exactly as is, it'll be good. If they nerf it, which they probably will, it is going to be bad. And we'll probably know more info on that tomorrow night as far as what's going to happen with that. Either that or on Monday. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for stopping by. Goodbye, everyone.